Well, welcome to a new year in the goat shed. Today is Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. And we wish all our viewers a happy new year and a prosperous and healthy one. The current temperature outside is 22 degrees Celsius, which is around 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And we only came back to work yesterday after about a 7-day break. And we've had beautiful weather. So we had anywhere between like 22 and 30 degrees Celsius. So 30 degrees Celsius is around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. But no rest for the wicked, we've got to get back to work. Our last job of the year last year was a lightning ball. We did a motorboard. Now we've actually done a video on that, and we'd encourage you to have a look at that and see what we did, and this motorboard came up really nicely. So there's Graham over there in the corner, sitting there waiting for Spanky to give him instruction for the day and tell him what to do. Without the goat's permission, we can't do a thing. Now, Spanky also reminds you to subscribe to our channel and give us the big thumbs up to our videos, because that's very important to us. You are going to start to see advertisements on our videos now, which means we may be able to earn a little bit of money out of our videos from YouTube. Not a lot, a little bit. But it's all good. We'll continue to make them regardless. Now, just before Christmas, we decided it was time to run more training courses. I remind you that these courses are only for people local to us in Australia. Well, when I say that, I mean people have come up from the Australian Capital Territory, Canberra. We've had people come down from Queensland, another state, Victoria. But there's been a great deal of interest in the training courses this time, and we've had about 14 people indicate they may be interested. Now, rule of thumb says that those 14 people will probably only get about maybe 8 or 9 of those interested in coming at the end, but it may mean that we'll run 2 training courses on consecutive weekends. And we're also currently working on reviewing the course a little bit to add a little bit more troubleshooting to it. So that should be good. Now, these courses are handy for beginners to learn a little bit about the basics of electromechanical machines, and of course how to repair said machines. So, what's happening in January? Well, we've got a little bit going on. We've got a surf champ we've just finished. I'll show you that in a moment. We have previewed that, I think, in a video before. Playfield on that's come up really nice. We just received plastics from America for it the other day, and that's come along rather nicely. I suppose before we go on, one other highlight of last year was our trip to the USA. So that was in September through to the end of October. And that encompassed the states of California, Nevada, New York, Ohio, Michigan, Chicago, San Francisco, and back to California. So it was a very busy time. Spanky and I managed to get over there, and we look forward to perhaps returning someday and even hosting some of our American friends here in our hometown of Newcastle. Show them the goat shed and show them some of the sights that we see here, or we have here, such as the Blue Water Wonderland. We have the best wineries in Australia, only less than an hour's drive from here. So that also should be very good. But anyway, let's get back to pinball. We have a big Brave coming in later this week. We've just got to get rid of the Surf Champ I mentioned earlier, and then the big Brave's good to go. So the story with that is a friend of ours contacted us a little while ago and asked us what machines we knew for sale, and sorry, he had a machine for sale, and then another person asked if we knew of any for sale on the same day almost, so Big Brave got sold literally on the same day. So that's got to have a full going over. We've spoken previously about a bowling queen we've had here where the cabinet needed repair. Well, that finally went to the carpenter on the week before Christmas, maybe a week and a half before Christmas. So that's underway as we speak. We also have from the same owner of the bowling queen a target pool. Now the target pool, the playfield wasn't very good at all. So the owner has engaged a restorer down in Melbourne, Victoria, to actually make a new playfield. And we're led to believe that that'll be ready late January, early February. So we look forward to that. And that same game has to have a whole trip bank overhaul in it. In other words, I have mentioned this before, the whole frame of the trip bank was rusted to pieces. All the coils in it were rusted in. So I think it's a 13 bank trip. So 13 new coils have got to go in that trip bank. We'll be doing a video on that as we assemble it, so watch out for that. That should be interesting for anyone interested in trip banks, because they are a little bit daunting if you've not had any experience with the trip bank. But they're relatively simple to work on. So the other job we've got is a high hand. Now, that's the one that had a new cabinet made for it. It's very close to being put together, but the playfield is having another overlay made for it. Now, we've got to sort of check out today when we're going to get that back in, because that's only a matter of then putting the playfield together and then testing all the mechanisms and making any adjustments. So that should be a great project. And this machine's had a new back glass, so I think it's got a new front door, I can't recall, but it'll almost be as good as the day it left the factory. So that'll be good. Now, we had another call from a customer yesterday who met Graham and I at one of our Pinfests a few years ago, and that lady has asked us to repair a fireball and an abracadabra for her, as they belong to her late husband, who sadly died in 2021. Now, in memory of him, she wishes to retain his entire collection of pinball machines, and apparently he was starting to do his 2 games there, and he didn't complete them before his untimely death. So we're going to receive those probably this month as well, and Fireball is a very popular machine, so with multi-ball. So what we'll do, we'll make a video on Fireball, and I think that video should be fairly popular when we do that, but that'll be a little way off yet. So that's what we've got to do, or what's happening this month. Whether we get it all done or not remains to be seen. Let me just show you this Surf Champ playfield. It looks really, really nice. Oh, just before we move on to the Surf Champ, recently Graham's brother has moved back home to live, and he's into slot cars. So here's the modern slot car that he does. He's got making this one up. I better be careful with it. They've got those fat tyres and these motors with big magnets in and all that sort of thing. And there's a frame out of one, another frame. And there's Skanky over the back. Now, Skanky doesn't appear very many times in our videos, but for some reason Spanky's let her out. And there she is. So yeah, slot cars, that's an interesting sport. I wonder, do many people around the world still use slot cars or in that hobby? Yeah, let us know in the comments. So here's Surf Champ. As you can see, the playfield is really, really nice. Now, when we received this, it had Mylar over it. And, you know, on the Mylar, the dirt gets under the edges and stuff. And, oh, they look horrible. But this one has come up very, very nicely. There's all brand new plastics on it, as you can see. And I think we put about 17 so new lamp sockets in it. We put a pile of coil sleeves in it. It's had the works and it plays really nice. The only downside is the spinner has got the wrong transfer on it, but well advise the owner that they can buy those. And the other downside of this game is unfortunately the back glass isn't real good, as you can see around the score reels, which is a shame, but anyway, I mean, that's the way it is. We'll also tell the guy that he can maybe try and fix that up himself. It's probably not going to be too difficult. So that's Surf Champ. So that's hopefully getting picked up Thursday or Friday. Well, that'll be tomorrow, hopefully Thursday, yeah. So we've shown you high hand before. There's the cabinet again. Beautiful, isn't it? I'm just trying to see if it does have a new front door. I know PBR were out of them, so that may have been an issue there. That the front door was on back order maybe, or they've got to order it in. They're not the legs for it, they're just our test legs or workshop legs that are on wheels that we move the machines around with. And there's the back box with all the mechs all done. All the score reels and the relays have all been done, and the ball count unit, the replay unit, it's all done. Now, a while back we did a video on Central Park. Will it live? Well, there it is there, getting put back together. Now, you can clearly see there are a lot of problems, or you may not be able to clearly see, I'm sorry. There's a terrible lot of delamination. I'll just point to it. All in those areas there. So we've spoken to the owner about this. The playfield is in terrible, terrible condition. He's going to try and buy another machine, make a donor playfield, and we'll make 2 out of 1, I think. So he's going to come down and pick that up and do a few things that he's going to do. We've done all the motorboard, and you can see the motorboard's back in the machine at the moment. And we've done the head box mechanism. It's all working. That had a, I think it was a, what was it? There was a step unit in that. It probably was the 0 to 9 unit. It was rusted to pieces. If anyone follows our videos, you'll recall this. This was last year sometime. So that's all been put back together. So I can't think what else has happened here. Oh yeah, we were donated a couple more filing cabinets, which is good. Storage space is becoming a premium. So there's a cabinet we were just donated there recently, that black one. What we decided to do with that one, we keep, like, one of the drawers has got parts for Central Park in, the other drawer's got parts for something else, and we're using it for storage for parts so that everything stays together. I guess it makes a bit of sense anyway, doesn't it? Keep everything together. So that's what's really happening at the moment. I can't really think of anything else that we've got done. There's the underneath of Lightning Ball's playfield. We haven't done anything to the playfield yet. We'll do that when time permits. And we'll show you this. So there's the undercarriage of Bowling Queen, so under the motorboard. I'll turn that round in a minute, let you have a look at the playfield. And there's the motorboard itself just to the right of it. It's in really good condition. This guy bought this, I think, from somewhere in Victoria. But he likes all his machines to be nice, and Graham's looked after this guy for 25 years probably. And he likes Graham's stenciling work, and he's going to get to do the stencil. Let's just turn this over and let you have a look at it. This is beautiful. So there's the playfield and the apron. As you can see, very, very nice. And typical of those bowling games, the bowling alley where the yellow is with the black lines there, always look good. I had a top score and it was in perfect condition. Look at the rest of the playfield. It's just a really, really beautiful example, this one. So when we get the cabinet back, we'll be reassembling all the cabinet parts and putting the machine back together and just tuning it up and getting it to actually work. You've got to love these old push-up ball machines, haven't you? They're beautiful. So there's the rest of it. It's had all new plastics and all the chrome's been polished on the lane guides there. Very, very nice machine. Very, very nice indeed. So as you can see, we've got plenty to do and not a lot of time to do it in. But I guess we'll get there. And the more of these machines we can keep going for people to enjoy, future generations in particular, I think the better it is, and we've all done a good job. So, with all that said and done, I think we'll finish this video now. And once again, remind you to subscribe to our channel. And with that in mind, we should say that this has been another Goat Shed presentation.